Greetings and welcome to Destiny and Dice, this campaign of A Short Story Made Long. And here we are with our party once again back in the halls of White Hearth. I'm going to go ahead and jump right into it. We have no announcements at this time. When last we met, the party had been discussing their next moves when they saw what looked like projections of subject A1113. How many ones was that? Too many ones. Taunting the party by floating around the two curious prisoners they had found in the oversized work bays of the Cannith facility of White Hearth. Upon approaching them, the projections disappeared, leaving the party with the feeling that the sooner they take care of her, the better. Yet in the midst of this, Nyx decided to take on more power of her aberrant dragon mark, resulting in a mental combat with Seek, the conscious personality of her aberrant dragon mark. As the decision was made to go and deal with the resident horror in the cell block below, the party decided a short rest was in order first. During said rest, topics were discussed at length, resulting in only half of the party lingering in Jalira's rope space. As the party made their way down the halls to the cell block, they kept a wary eye out, hoping to spot any mischief that might lurk in the shadows. Thankfully, they made it to the cell block with no problems. Upon turning the green key to access the cells, the party was met with clouds of dust that obscured vision until Bruise gusted it away. Step by step, they approached the cells, and as they moved further into the area, they began to notice an incredible amount of destruction had befallen the halls, even the guard room. But a moment of victory was shared by all when they saw that one of the guardian hounds had been destroyed by Jalira's secondary lightning trap. Pushing the last bits of dust out of the way, the party now looks through the remains of the broken doors of the cell block. In the center cell at the back of the room, A113 stands in the same trance-like position they had originally seen her in. Eyes closed, arms outstretched. Let's switch to that map right now. Again, friendly reminder, don't move your token unless you tell me you're going to move your token. And then don't move it until I say go ahead and move your token, okay? That being said.
Okay.
Shadowslayers, what are you going to do now?
You didn't think that Nyx and Kiz and Z's conversation warranted more in the...
No, I did not.
I feel like it was a significant portion of the episode. People would be really confused if that isn't
just doing
included.
This. You're just doing this to turn me red again. I would like to move so that my character can see down the hall. In fact, it'd be nice if we were all kind of, well, at least so we can speak.
Okay, so looking as I can look on the map, I at least can see a 113.
I can for sure see her.
And she's not doing anything. She's just floating.
Just as you had left her.
Kiz is going to whisper, want me to shoot her?
Not yet.
I kind of lean over. I'm like, can you get a feel off of that? Give us a little bit of warning before we go in? Anything that we should anticipate?
I think I need to be
She hasn't responded in any way to our presence, has she?
Nope.
Need to move in there.
Hang on, let me check the range of it.
Breeze is going to kind of look back at the group. All right, we going in?
Let me do
Probably.
Kiz is trying to do something.
I forgot to load my roll-20 sheet, and then the roll-20 is like, I remember you wanted to sort by this, but I'm going to wait to do that.
Maybe.
Anything? Any last bits before we walk in? We need to use the restroom.
We're tiny.
60 feet, so she could scoot just a little bit to do the speed on her.
Jalira's panicking a little. She wants to she feels like the space is cramped. She doesn't want to get anybody, get in anybody's way or anything. So she's going to conjure up her turret, but it comes out tiny instead of medium sized, and she's surprised by that.
Is she going to carry it?
Sticks are gonna carry it.
Like a bazooka.
This image of hologram Pixar holding the turret like a bazooka, and it's fantastic in my head now.
We'll have to draw it now.
For now, she's like she has it clamp onto her shield because her shield she's out of spell slots, so she's not gonna be able to use it anyway. It's like
All right, she's gonna focus and use Hunter's Sense. I believe I'm 60 feet.
As you focus and center your ability, you stretch out with the power of nature that you've gained, feeling, questing, looking, and you sense that whatever you're looking at has no damage, immunities, resistances, or vulnerabilities.
It's like either she's completely normal or she's not there. Can I shoot her yet?
Or she's hidden from divination magic. I mean,
Would I be able to tell her?
doesn't say whether or not you can tell it.
Oh, okay. If it's hit, it sounds like it's hidden. Or it says it's number 2.
She's either hidden or she's vulnerable.
Well, I mean,
Not vulnerable, but I mean, like, she's not resistant or invulnerable or whatever.
most of us here are, are pretty normal in that count. Bruce is only resistant to stuff when he's caught under the collar.
Bruce is gonna start smoking.
Nice.
Bruce pulls out his pipe.
know when you started doing that, but just unusual.
Bruce pulls out the pipe of discovery and begins smoking. This pipe is made of rosewood, delicately carved with divination sigils and set with pearl and moonstone. Are you expending a charge?
Yep.
After a moment getting the pipe lit, the pipe smoke begins to filter forward, and you begin to detect the underlying currents of magic that surrounds you. You get a sense
Detect
of magic.
magic.
Everything within 30-foot radius, right? Around him?
Mm-hmm.
Bruce is gonna step to the side real quick. Just one square to the right.
Okay.
We can tell she's an illusion real quick if we shoot her.
I know. I'm like, I
Let's
could.
see if there's anything over here.
Over there seems to be no magic. In fact, where you see along the walls that you've normally detected the fluctuating currents of magic that keep the place intact and together, keep it clean, you don't sense that underlying cleanliness magic that's been going by. And the walls themselves are still intact here, but once you get into that, what looks like a cliff face into the doorway, the magic is broken.
Okay.
And you detect the same thing. The magic seems to have been broken on the back wall with Zanim as well, where it shows the cliff face. You do detect magic coming from that square right inside the doorway.
Do I get a sense of the type of magic?
You should be able
Hold on
to.
one moment.
If it has a type.
What type is usually traps?
Evocation, I'm guessing. Maybe transmutation.
Boom, boom.
What type is boom boom?
Evocation is boom, boom magic.
And who wants to just throw a rock?
should I send Tix here in?
And you get the sense of abjuration magic.
Protection. All right. Or
That would
defensive.
probably also be.
Can I?
We're gonna point in that direction, and there's something warding there.
Okay. Can I get a vibe for on her to determine, because I want to check to see if she's real or not just a projection that we're being kind of faced with.
How would you like to do that?
I would like to perhaps perceive, if that's okay, just kind of general, like look for any sort of maybe perhaps not weaknesses in the magic, but like behavior that would, I guess, determine like if she's floating on the off the ground, or is there any sort of translucence to parts of her or whatever. Just kind of, because I feel like when I've been around Zanim long enough and her enchantment magic, and granted it's not illusion, but she's probably used some illusionary spells on us to mess with us before in the past because we're pranksters. And so I was just been kind of looking for the telltale signs of what I have been accustomed to. I don't know if
Go
Zanim
ahead
is
and
okay
roll me
with
an
it.
investigation check.
Okay.
Hey, Nyx has minor illusion.
Yeah.
So you've dealt with it.
All right. Investigation. Let's see what the roll's going to be. Probably not very good. 16 is okay.
From this distance away, she does not seem different from when you were in the room 30 feet from her.
Okay.
Does
You
she
do not
seem
see
different
a-
from the projections?
Yeah.
Other than that, she's holding still. The projections were moving,
Mm-hmm.
moving their arms. But again, when you were in here last, the only thing that you guys saw move was a slight smile, and that was Bruce out of the corner of his eye as he was retreating from the room.
Okay.
She appears
Okay.
solid. There's no flicker, telltale sign of illusion.
Do you want me to
At
teleport
least not that you
Nyx?
can tell from this distance.
Zanim, come up a little bit. I don't like you hanging out in the back by yourself. Can you make out what I'm sensing something there, pointing at that area. Any ideas?
That
So yeah,
and
Bruce would not have let her walk past him.
but she would want to get closer in to be able to like.
He would not let her walk past him.
That
Like,
sounds
oh,
like
that's
a
close
contender
enough.
check.
Oh, you see with your eyes. not
Bruce
with
said he saw some like a trap, maybe a magical trap by the door. So just don't get too close. Can you tell?
Bruce will be actively holding on to her if he needs to be.
Well, Z was aware that last time they fought Allie, her magic actually fed Allie power, so she's not likely to use her magic here. She feels rather useless. She would start with all of her magical insights. Would it be an investigation or an arcana check to see what she can kind of see/sense?
Can roll an arcana check. But as you can't see what it is Bruce is seeing through his detect magic ability, it's difficult for you to get a bead other than Bruce said that area is warded by something.
Okay. At that point, Z would say, "Are you guys like ready and willing to wait while I identify what this is?" That's a 10-minute ritual.
Don't you have to touch something
That
to
requires you
identify
to
it?
touch it.
I would prefer you not touch it.
Anybody got any better ideas?
We all go
Can I
back
have
around
my-
the corner and Kiz shoots it with a bow.
I could teleport past it.
And then
You're inside there with who knows what.
It's
What
got a
if
lot
I
of
send
pebbles.
my unseen servant into it?
Do it.
not a bad idea, but again, we should be like move back a bit.
Yeah, I think that's probably for the best.
Can you cast Unseen Servant immediately?
Hold on, I'm looking.
How long of a ritual is that?
It's 10 minutes plus an action, and then it has an hour-long duration.
Okay, I can cast Unseen Servant
Immediately, right?
yes.
Well, I mean, I can too. It's just
She doesn't
this
have to
way-
use a spell slot for it. It's part of her. I think it's part of her mark.
yeah,
Which
yeah,
I can
it
do.
is. But you can
Kisriel's
cast it. I
mark.
can
It's not
cast
part
it.
of Zanim's mark. Zanim has it unless she has it prepared. She has to cast it as a ritual.
Well, she was
Hmm.
also talking to
I'm sorry. I was referring to
It's like-
Kisriel's mark because
Yeah,
you.
that's what I thought. Like, but I heard Zanim agree with you that it was part of her mark, so I wanted to make sure clarification.
His mark is like, it's my time to shine.
So
calm
you see
down,
her.
buddy.
You see her arm flexing a little bit for no reason. It's like,
A
why is
little
your
bit
arm
blowing
twitching?
along.
Why is your arm twitching,
I
Kiz?
mean, sure. If Kiz wants to cast Unseen Servant and see what happens, then I'll step back a little.
Well,
So
no,
I think in
Let
general
me
we should be moving
go
back in
around the
general.
wall.
okay. Well, she was kind of going by your guidance. For that, it was just
Sorry, I
thought she
felt like this
gave
was
you
kind of
a-
building to something a little more epic, but why don't we just back up for a second?
All right, I'm gonna back up because you said to.
Well, okay, I'm gonna cast Unseen
Also,
Servant.
has your turret been doing anything, Cherry?
I could. Do you, are we ready? I didn't want it to start anything, but I could. I could go ahead and use if you think so. You think we should? If you don't think it's gonna start to piss her off or anything.
I mean, we're
Where
about
is
to
next
send an
person?
unseen servant at her door.
Okay. Remind me.
What is it doing?
The cannon
That's
emits
a
a
big-
burst of positive energy that grants itself and creatures around you a number of hit points equal to 1d8 plus your intelligence modifier
That's something.
points.
How many points?
Everybody has 2 extra hit points.
Your intelligence modifier is
Nope.
only 2?
Oh wait, you're right. What is my intelligence modifier?
I was like,
Oh.
You're
3.
not
So 4.
you're a lot
I mean,
smarter
like-
than that, girl. Give yourself some credit.
Hold on, I gotta go change the feats that I want to give you in the future. You need to boost your intelligence.
Well,
To be
see,
fair,
there is a difference
considering- Go ahead.
there is a difference between Jalira's intelligence and Rogue Dragon's intelligence.
To be fair, you could keep doing it every round, and if you get more than that one, that's what we have then. Considering we're not even in combat, that should just be like boom, boom, boom.
I have 35 charges.
Oh, yeah.
I have
I've only got
34
one more
charges.
use of that.
Now Mike knows how long to make the fight.
35 charges? What?
Welcome to the Eldritch Cannon.
We're moving back. Right.
You
So
could keep
nobody's curious
spamming
as
it
to
until
why
you get a higher one.
her cannon is
Yeah.
now travel size.
I mean, we're all looking at you and we can see you're confused. We're confused that you're confused.
Just like,
Tired.
I remember that being a little bigger. I mean, did you give it an upgrade? Make the components smaller and therefore more
Not worry about the
compact?
size of Cherry's cannon right now. Why
I'm
don't we
sorry.
walk?
Yeah,
Remember
yeah.
that-
I walked
I
back.
can
I
still
walked
see
back.
her. Like, you guys can still see the evil demon woman, right? Like,
Yes, I can still see the evil demon woman.
But
All right.
I'm moving.
So, do we all move back around the corners?
Rex moves over here.
Does Bruce pick up anything as he's
Yeah.
walking? Anything further than he has so far?
No.
Okay. Kiz and
Wait, should I cast it inside of the door or outside? And then have
why
it
don't
walk
you
through
come
the door?
around the corner and then tell it to go walk in the doorway, and we'll see what happens.
I think I still have to be able to see it. Oh,
I don't
no.
think so. It
Like
just
maybe
can't.
just
You can move
pick
it
up
It
the
just
within.
can't
rock
go
and
more than 60 feet away from you. I'm gonna slide out again real quick just to measure.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
I need you to pick up a rock and carry it into that room.
Go on the corner.
You might, well, I guess I don't get visibility because I
At
don't
Cherry's
have
lamp
visibility.
is
They're out of
there's
the way.
a ghostly figure. Okay.
There's,
You can
oh,
move
Have
okay.
the figure.
What
Hold
does
on
it
one
look
second,
like?
please.
Here, fix it. Yeah.
Want him to move?
Well, if something explodes down the hallway, I figured.
Okay.
You've already lost it once.
I just okay.
How many d6 is a fire damage?
Bruce puts his fingers up towards his ears.
It's not like we're planning to launch a space rocket.
It's a different game.
Still traumatized.
I put away my incandescent scimitar for right now. But I still have the Traveler's Gift out.
Unseen servant begins to approach the doorway with its rock. Your unseen servant passes into the doorway with its rock. Your unseen servant is now standing in the room with its.
Start creeping and looking.
Alright.
Want to try sending... We still have Liz, right?
Yeah.
I kind of
think-
looked to Zanim. It's like, do you want to try sending Liz in?
I can try.
Where's this? I'm going to go ahead and move up to here and command the.
You have it like drop the rock
Okay.
on
I
the
want
spot.
to take the rock and just go up to Allie.
I don't think that's a great idea.
No, I just want to see if it's real. I wasn't going to hurt her. I'm just going to like touch her with the rock.
I feel like that's a
Not
hornet's
a-
nest, and kicking
There's
it is
not a space big enough in the bars for it to get through.
Not
Z
even
would
to reach an arm through?
You can get probably something about that big through.
Z would summon Liz and send Liz in, telling her to go all the way toward Allie, but don't touch Allie.
Okay. You want to pull Liz out?
Yeah. I don't need to summon her because she's just in her pocket dimension. But yes.
Right. She's been there for so long. The
Starts
poor little pterodactyl is now free.
snuggling into her neck real quick. Mom!
Where did that little dinosaur come from?
It's Liz.
You've seen Liz before.
Remember it, teens.
With us again.
Come on, don't pretend like you all remembered she had a familiar.
I literally just asked her about it.
Bruce rolls his eyes.
Does she have a icon though?
Yeah, Liz should have an icon. She should go to her character sheet in Roll20 over in the journal section, and she can pull Liz out.
I want to see it.
There's a little pterodactyl.
Did you get it?
Well, I see a little. I don't see a picture there.
You grab the name and pull the name out onto the board.
Yay! Hey, Liz.
I love it.
Okay.
It's really cute. I feel like.
So
You know what? I'm just gonna, just in case.
Okay, I need to scooch Z over so I can see what Liz sees. But Z isn't actually moving.
Are you gonna send your senses through, Liz?
No, not yet. I want to see if anything happens with her flying all around Allie without touching her before I put my consciousness in that familiar.
I'm gonna order my servant to make just gentle circles around the room with the pebble, not touching anything, just kind of moving around.
Liz cannot get past the bars in the cell either. Liz is too big for that.
So sometimes.
Could she
So Liz
snap
stops
her
at the
out and
doorway.
snap her in?
At the doorway.
What's the distance you can snap your familiar out and in?
Is that under Find Familiar or somewhere else?
I don't think there is a distance to.
As long as you can see it.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
Z has to be able to see it, and Z only has dark vision to 60 feet.
But isn't there a lamp around here?
While you're familiar within
Oh,
100
it's not
feet
lit up.
of you, you can communicate with it telepathically. Additionally, as an action, you can see through your familiar's eyes and hear what it hears.
Okay. Actually, because she's producing her own light, and the wards in the room are producing their own light, you actually can see down there. So, we're just double checking all of my distances and stuff. So if you wanted to bamf her into the same cell as Allie, you can.
I will vamp her into Allie's cell.
She flutters around Allie. You tell her to land on Allie.
Once everything else looks copacetic, yeah.
Liz attempts to land on Allie and finds no solid surface on which to land.
Frick, man. Allie got out.
Well, it's a surprise.
Okay, Z bamps Liz out and
Was
back
she-
over to her.
Was she ever there to begin with?
It's a very good question.
Do you have any dispel magics left, or I remember that was one you were running short on.
She doesn't have any left.
She
She used all her 3rd level and 4th level slots, I believe, already.
Bruce
I
is gonna
did,
start
but
slowly approaching the doorway.
I did, but I got one back, I think. Hold on,
Arcane
let me double check.
recovery, right?
Nyx is going to follow.
Yeah,
his-
Arcane Recovery. I took a 4th level spell back because I got to pick one or the other, and if
Okay.
it was
You can move forward. Nyx, you can move forward.
And
So
that
we're
was
discussing this. It's like,
right?
do you want to have her try dispelling the magic at the doorway, or
Can I send Fixer in?
You can send Fixer in.
well, he does have the lamp? Everybody can see the servant. I assume it looks like a very ethereal halfling.
More like a human gentleman because it is a medium creature, I think. I think it's at a medium-sized force. Hold on, let me double check.
You're right.
Medium, yeah, it's medium force. So
Well,
it's an older gentleman. Looks kind of like a butler. I mean, or we could make it fun and it's 2 halflings stacked on top of each other.
3 kobolds and a trench coat.
okay, 2 halflings in a butler outfit that looks like one butler outfit, even though they're 2 halflings.
It's a halfling riding a dinosaur.
Oh.
No.
Can I sneak forward?
As Jalira starts to scoot forward. Bruce, you do like once you come back into range, you do sense that piece of magic. Like you keep walking out of your 30-foot range of it, and you walk back in.
Hey, Bruce,
Hmm.
I think it would probably be best if I try and see what happens when you go past it.
What do you mean?
If it's a trap and requires reflex, I can do pretty well with that.
Okay, what if it's a trap and it doesn't require reflex?
Well, I'd be just about as bad as you.
Bruce looks down at his
So we're
chunkier
not
form.
doing the dispel thing.
I mean,
Do-
can you
do-
put dominate monster into a glyph of warding? That's just disgusting.
You can do.
I don't know, Mike.
I mean,
Could
if
you?
she's not there and we kind of know it now, it doesn't particularly seem worth it to Z to use her dispel magic on this.
Let's
I
do.
really want to take that cell apart if we can.
I mean, we can perform some rituals. I mean, it'll take 10 minutes, but we can do.
Allie! We know that's not really you. What's your game?
Silence. No response.
A113,
One.
A111,
A1131.
A1131.
1138.
8675309.
You wanted us down here.
What if she wanted us down here so we wouldn't be up there with the people who were doing the interesting things?
It weren't done yet, though.
Yet?
They weren't close.
Can
What
I?
is Fixer doing right now?
Huh?
What is Fixer doing right now?
He's just holding the lantern so we can see in there. But Jalira is now thinking about having him set down the lantern and fly off to see if we have to give him a key. Can he use keys?
How many keys do you want to give Fixer?
No,
I'm gonna
no,
have
no, 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 no. That feels like a bad idea.
We'll give them to Liz, and Z will just fly in her mind, and she can just.
I'm gonna ask the servant to set its pebble down and set its rock down on the middle of the doorway. Just set it down.
Should we be standing here when it does?
A
Though?
blaring fanfare starts to play. Da 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 da. Little illusionary fireworks start firing off from that point, and that goes on for about 3 minutes.
I hate her. I hate her so
4
much.
minutes.
30 seconds in, Bruce turns and goes, "Use the dispel magic. Use."
Only do it if you want to. That's a fourth level spell slot.
All right,
Bruce is gonna start approaching.
I'm gonna.
Z's gonna tell him no.
Whatever. Bruce is gonna hit it on the way in.
I'm gonna teleport through.
All right.
By the way, Mike.
The servant looks like proud of itself, I think.
Hey, Mike, is this more wall over here?
Yes.
Okay, just double check.
Nyx is gonna teleport. Is that okay?
Sure. Where is Nyx teleporting to?
Right there.
Right where?
Next to
Can you mark
Fixer.
it on the map? Not blink it, but like actually put a mark on the map. The dynamic lighting is making my computer hate Roll20 right now.
Yeah.
Purple.
There's a bunch of magic coming from that cell, Bruce. There also seems to be a bit of magic right there. That secondary X in the room. You are able to successfully teleport to that spot next to Fixer.
That blue mark there.
There's a bit of magic that you're detecting there.
What happens when the music
Also
ends?
activation.
What happens when the music ends?
Nothing. It just stops.
He's gonna point to it and say, "There's something there." Feels similar to the last one.
Do you want me to do a detect magic?
Was it Allie that did that one?
I've got detect magic handled.
I wasn't sure if
Honest-
ritual would give more details or not. I'm not sure what the differences are.
Honestly, that song felt more like Brotor's speed.
Kind of does, doesn't it?
This has happened to us before where we've been pranked. I'm just trying to remember when the last time it was. Were we in
What type of magic am I sensing from here?
From there, you're getting a heavy illusion magic, as well as some untyped magic. And because of who you are, you can see variants of both true dragon mark magic and aberrant dragon mark magic.
May I have Kiz tell Bora to keep a guard, give a good howl if she sees Allie or anything suspicious? And have her head in.
Okay.
She's gonna tell the servant good job.
As the minute, like the first couple of minutes end, the song does start to kind of wind down. The little fireworks that shoot out are kind of dissipating. Poof, 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 poof.
Are there
Trying
any
to
holes in
avoid
the ceiling?
that, Bruce is going to start approaching the cell.
Okay.
I'd like to sneak forward to step just
Okay.
inside, maybe.
Well, I would like you to look at that cell and see if you can open it.
I'm going to move forward, Mike.
Okay.
To stand like right here.
Okay. Looks good.
What do you think? Do we step on it?
Do
I
you
don't
want
know.
me to have the servant put a rock on it?
Unless we clear the room, I doubt it'll make much of a difference. None of the other cells are giving off any magic anymore, right?
Correct.
Brotor seems intact.
Right.
Because he was in this one, right?
Towards the cell.
I was like,
Only a
Seems
perception check.
Eight.
Bruce, can you show me again where that spot is on the floor? I'll have the servant stand there.
Again, it looks to be intact. Nothing happens as the servant stands over that bit of magic that Bruce has detected.
Well, everybody can see him, so hopefully it makes things easier. No worries.
Screw it. Back up if you want to, but I'm tired of being afraid of her. And Bruce is going to start walking to step on it.
Fix her.
Okay.
We'll fix her back.
Okay.
Kind of giving everyone a second if they want to like move their characters.
Okay. Giving everybody a second if they want to move their characters. Z, are you moving up to see what's going on?
Nope.
She's not alone. She's got me.
Okay. Z stands where she is. Bruce?
I'm gonna scooch over so I can see, and I'll send Liz up.
Okay. Liz comes flapping into the room.
I'll have Laura so she can see down there.
Bruce, as you step onto the bit of magic, nothing happens.
The servant's all like,
Is the magic still there?
The magic still remains.
Okay. Can
Kind of
Bruce
like
reach
a-
down and cast Identify on it using the pipe?
You'll have to take a minute to focus on it.
Okay.
Okay, Nyxa's gonna move over here.
Hey, kids, is there anything in Brotor's cell?
As you approach the cell, the image of A1131 opens her eyes and begins to speak.
Well, shoot.
You have reached the voicemail box of.
A1131.
I see that the projections I sent to taunt you finally inspired you to come find this image. If you're not that group, well, shame on me. But if you are that group, I want you to know that I would love to kill you all. But that is not how one shows their appreciation? Is that the word? Maybe. Regardless, for my freedom, I will not hunt any of you for a year and a day. Though if we cross paths sooner than that, I will try my best to rip out your guts. To the changeling of whom I've already spoken to, I owe you my life, and as such I give you this warning. Do you really know who it is that you serve? Do you really think he has your best interests at heart? To the blue-eyed orc, we will meet again, and when we do, we will see who will wear the crown. And to the marked changeling, good luck, you poor creature. To the rest of this ragtag band of miscreants, I bid you farewell. But for now, as a parting gift. Please. Bruce, as you are bending down and beginning to study
I dodge.
the magic on the floor,
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
that magic activates.
Yeah.
And a flash of bright lightning erupts.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. Cool. Cool, 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 cool.
I need everybody to roll a dexterity saving throw.
Cool, 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 cool.
Even me?
Yeah, it reached all
Yeah.
the way down the hall. Nice. I'm gonna use my inspiration from last time and hope I did better. Because F that.
Should we all set?
214.
I can't see Bora. Does she have enough cover, or does she still need to do it?
See, that's better. No, it's worse.
Oh.
It's the same. It's worse. It's worse. Why? Why, game? Why? It means my hits are gonna be great. But, you know, everything else is gonna suck.
Can I use my inspiration to reroll?
If you have inspiration, you can use it.
Gosh, I hate this game sometimes.
She has a little
Hey.
box in D&D Beyond that says I have inspiration, but I don't remember how I got it, if it's correct.
Oh no.
Can you be resummoned?
Do I need to do anything for Liz?
You should probably roll a dexterity saving throw for Liz. That would be just a dexterity check on her little sheet in the extras section of your character sheet on D&D Beyond.
I think she's got like 2 hit points, so.
Did Bora need to have to do one, or did she fire away?
Guara, I think, is out of range. Unless.
Gora is not hit. Gora is the only one who is not hit.
Come save us, sweetie.
Right
Turn
there.
around, press
Clear.
it, sweetie.
Plus
it's
0.
Delira.
That should just been 10, not 8.
The one who's inspecting Brotor's, the lightning doesn't go there.
I'm assuming it's just filling the room.
It
You know,
fills
the
the room.
graphics can only do so much.
Yeah, I mean, he said it hit
Checking
me.
if
fills the
Brotor's,
room.
if Brotor's cell was actually a safe place and someone could have jumped in there and been okay, but
I mean, it looks like the door is still shut on Brotor's cell, so... Regardless, okay, everybody has made their save. Let's see what we
Made it?
Okay.
No,
What-
I think he
Hold
said
on.
everyone.
No,
I think
like
he said everyone
everybody has
done
rolled
one.
their save, correct?
I don't
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
It's not that low of a DC. He's not that merciful. We don't have that much plot armor.
If everyone succeeded, it would have to be a save of like 2.
Okay.
If Fixer got a 3,
So, Liz, Fixer, AT12 are not affected.
They're constructs.
Everybody else takes 7 points of lightning damage.
oh, that's also not so bad, is it? Oh,
It ate through the temp hit points, so that's nice.
We had 10 hit points. How much was it?
We have 2.
I get.
It wasn't 2, it was 4.
And everybody blocks.
That's right. That's right. It was 4.
Oh,
Blacks
Right.
out?
I thought it was 5.
Oh no!
Wait, did I get half the hit points taken or no?
No.
I hate her.
I have
What's
to
the
make
point
a
of
half
rolling?
my reflex.
Jeez.
So,
Because this is plot magic.
Cool.
what does Liz, Fixer,
To quote Christy, because she has strong plot magic,
Oh, plot armor, but yes.
plot armor. But
so
calling it magic because it was magic and not art. So yeah.
what
Why'd you
does
pass out? Because.
Everybody
like,
comes to.
7 damage.
5
or-
days later.
Because if it was 5 days later, Boris wouldn't just let it sat still.
Right, let him finish. Let him finish.
Everybody comes to. Let me do some housekeeping here.
Did we get hit by like a magic box that was similar to what we got in White Hearth or Black Hearth, but this is going to have bad things happen to us instead?
Or we're gonna visit an alternate
Right.
timeline.
I need you to go into your manage feat section,
Okay.
find the feat Sneaky Blast, and add it to your character sheet.
Okay.
Zanim, I need you to go into the manage feat sections at the bottom of the features and traits in your D&D Beyond character sheet and search for the feat the spirit of the spell book and add that to your character sheet. Nyx Bruise, you've already added some pretty awesome things to your character sheet.
Michael.
We could always add more.
Jalira, I need you to go to the feat section of your character sheet and add the feat Practical Magic. And Kizriel, I need you to go to the feat section and add the feat Life Finds a Way.
Mike.
Oh my god.
Thank you. I am
Is
so
Kiz gonna
excited.
get Guar pregnant, or is Guar gonna get Kiz pregnant?
Was
just
now
got Billy
Guaro.
Or just can Kiz get anyone pregnant?
Kizriel is now Kizael.
I mean, to be completely honest, I was 2 weeks ago old when I figured out that, the scene of Alan Grant tying the seatbelt across his belt as they descend onto the island for the first time and having 2 female connectors and having him tie it and secure and give him a seatbelt was like telling us what was going to happen in the movie.
Oh
2
yeah.
weeks ago.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago.
Honestly,
I was 2 weeks ago old.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I watched a video and they said that and I was like, wow, that's one of my favorite movies. And I never noticed that.
Yeah.
That is such an obscure.
I don't think I've
obscure-
noticed it, but I've known it for a while. I saw it on something a while back. But
Yeah, who would think?
Not
Oh,
something
2
new.
female connectors. That means all dinosaurs are female. I wouldn't. Nobody would have put that together.
it's foreshadowing.
Yeah,
Right,
nature
it was
finds a way. He
brilliant,
ties it shut.
Brilliant foreshadowing. And I was like,
Well, the foreshadowing was also that luck was not on their side.
Hey, Mike, thanks for that feat, man.
When
You're welcome.
Kiz gets back to Guara, she finds 2 of the same straps and has to just tie them together.
Bruce, roll me a perception
Sorry.
check.
So, like, what are we doing? Are we like waking up on the ground?
Like,
Dang,
you are kind of
22.
like you wake up suddenly, like you particular being a barbarian, you're like looking around aggressively trying to find out what happened. You look over, you kind of lock eyes with Nyx, who's in her changeling form. What are you wearing right now? Yeah, you're in your changeling form. What are you wearing right now?
Thrice broken robes.
No.
Broken in
She
a not
changed
fun way.
an old lady outfit.
Changed in an old lady outfit.
Yeah. so
You do
it's a
not
little-
see a dragon mark on Nyx's face anymore.
Oh, balls. Oh,
How low
no.
cut is that dress? I mean, it's an old lady dress, so I'm not thinking it's going to be that low cut.
No.
I don't
Well,
know.
it
She could be
depends on
she could be
whether
a sassy old lady. Come on.
it could be if the old lady has more like saggy breasts and it doesn't.
And it wasn't intention. It wasn't originally low cut, but nature. Life finds a way.
Finds a way. Ugh.
It's typically I imagine it kind of a lacy, typically kind of thing. So up it here. However, Nyx is thinner than a human, so it would have a little bit of
You see the
probably-
bare hint of reddish purple right below her throat.
Okay, so how is Nyx when I see her? What is she doing? Is she standing? Is she sitting? Is she like? How would I have?
She herself
what
is
point
probably
in it?
sat up and is looking around. You fell face first and you've kind of like pushed yourself up on your hands and knees and you look up. The first thing you see is Nyx. And you see she has
Okay,
no
then-
dragon mark, but you see a little bit of
Because
something.
what I was gonna say is Bruce is probably the moment he doesn't see a dragon mark, just off like a shot at her to like chuck her and like staring at her cheek, and then as he gets close and I'm gonna apologize in advance for this, notices the red herring, he's gonna reach over, like there's kind of a panicked and angry look on his face as he like just rushes right at you. And like staring at your face, and then you see his eyes drift down, and he grabs the front of the dress and he pulls it down a bit.
Please tell me I see this.
Not all the way, but like he's not ripping it off her, but he's pulling it so he can get a better look at what that is, so he can confirm that her dragon mark didn't get ripped off while they were unconscious. Because he's kind of panicking.
understandable. She's just like, what happened? What's wrong? Kind of like, what's the
Ah,
what?
butterfly in the sky.
And that's what you begin to see.
Would you mind doing that again? Because I accidentally clicked right as you brought it up, and it immediately got rid of it.
Hold on. Try it again.
There we go. Thank
Uh-huh.
you. Okay, where is it? Like, how much of it am I seeing?
How far down did you pull her shirt?
Probably to about like here-ish.
I see it.
Massive
Just
blush.
She's like,
Am I fantasizing? Jeez.
yeah.
You see a good chunk of it's doubled in size. And it extends
Are we
from
still talking about the dragon mark, or?
Yes. And it extends from about here to the bottom tip of it is just sitting at the top of her cleavage.
Okay. So yeah, you see Bruce like fly at you with that look on his face. Gets over to you, like just grabs and pulls down. And he's just staring at, that portion of your chest, which how much of it can she make out if she looks down, or can she not make it out really?
Probably the bottom half is what she could see.
We're gonna have to up the rating of this episode if Mike keeps showing off.
I was trying to move the mic to like block it, be like, Hmm.
Uh,
At this point, Rix, you kind of look up from where you were, figuring out like you look up, you see Z at the end of the hall. Z's kind of starting to stumble and wake up. Jalira is like starting to. You whip your head around and you see Bruce like has like jacked down your sister's shirt and is looking at something on her chest. Though he seems to be in the way, you can't see what it is that he's looking at.
Oh
Can I ask
gosh,
what the
I am just there,
Can I
just
ask Rick-
unsure of what is going on, kind of blinking. And I'm
Can I
like,
ask Rix to make a perception check in this moment?
okay,
stop feeling
Is
up
that
his
our-
sister?
10.
Considering Bruce didn't really stand up, he more like went on all fours. What are the odds that it looks like Bruce just straight up has his head buried in Nyx's chest?
It's hard to tell.
Or low. Low is, or we're gonna say, okay, sorry, high or low.
Near.
I'd like
I'm gonna have Rix do this one.
Low.
Try again.
Kiz is gonna run up and see if she can
Does
help.
not look like
Can I-
he has buried his face in
Can
her.
I
in
use
her
my
shirt.
inspiration too?
No.
Ooh.
All right. I just kind of sit there momentarily, like a little bit stunned, like looking around to see if anyone else is seeing this. Like, is this my imagination? Is like, am I interrupting something momentarily? And like, I kind of just look down, start climbing to my feet, then kind of realize, oh, what the crap! And I go running toward everyone else. Kind of motioning for Guara to follow after me. Or not Guara, never mind. I kind of just run, zoom past.
Ara's gonna poke Zaneve and see if she's okay.
To there.
Kiz is gonna run up and try to help, but she's not gonna read into it.
I think Rogue Dragon would like to.
There are several critters that were not affected by the spell. What is their reactions upon us waking up? Is it as if we'd been out for 5 days, or as if they just barely caught up and as if we were out for seconds?
Do a bladder check.
Roll me a survival check. No, roll me a perception check. Actually, no, insight. Roll me an insight check.
Well, what is Gora doing? Is she like trying to nuzzle Zaneve awake, or is she still in guard and doesn't realize anything's happened?
She extra stinky.
Looking at the critters around you, you can tell that they are slightly panicked, but you get no sense of time, whether it was short or long or whatnot. Guara, like as I said, everybody was starting to wake up. Zaneem's already awake. Guara's just over there, kind of noses her gently, see if she's okay.
Would Z be able to get a sense of the time from Liz?
Roll me an insight check.
All right, Liz. You know what a clock looks like. Give me the hand.
Ugh.
You guys are rolling like Bruce does for these insight checks.
Freaking +5. Oh my goodness.
It's just like Rick's and his perception checks. So.
Welcome to my life. Welcome to my life. My life, right there. I have a +7 in
all good.
perception. Sure, I'll continually roll below 10. Continually.
So, Bruce, having rushed over to Nyx and pulling down part of her shirt, like Nyx sees him like rush forward, that concerned look, and then pull down her part of her shirt, and then you just see like relief flood over his face, and probably like almost like the joy of recognition. And he seemed to be like, "There you are, Seek. You had me worried for a sec. Oh, all right." And then he's gonna actually look up and make eye contact with me. Like,
Right.
"Hey, you all right?"
Well, that
Next, that wisdom saving throw. What was that in reference to?
blushing, I'm sure.
like, kind of what the freak? Like how much she would panic.
Stunning strike.
I'm helping
Stunning strike.
I'm helping Jalira to her feet.
Okay. How much time did
He
we
does look
lose?
a little stunned. Sorry, go.
I
How long does your
have
device
no
last?
idea. I mean, look. Check your catalysts. Are they full?
Well, they didn't refill after a 5-day knockout. I have to set them up. to
Yeah,
charge.
but we also didn't dive into someone else's memories, did we?
I don't remember anything.
All I have are my memories, but that's what happened last time. So Bruce is gonna like look at Nyx and be like, huh, "All right, you good?" And then like start to stand up. He's gonna reach and like pat her chest.
Oh
You have fun
gosh.
making this as awkward as possible, don't you?
Oh yeah, he does. I just
Well-
kind of I look to Nyx, waiting for her to look at me, but she might still be stunned. Just trying to get a read, like face communication, like crap.
Bruce is gonna stand up and like stretch and look around.
They
Does
check on the
22
other-
perception net him anything else?
Kiss is gonna reach up and just grab Nyx's hand and be like, "Are you okay?"
You stand up, you look around. You see that the cell in which Allie was secured, the wards there have been torn up.
Hmm.
And in the fragments there, you still see remnants of in the glow of the lantern, you see remnants of like shiny reflective dust. As if some expensive gems had been used in the setting of these wards to hold in place aberrant dragon marked creatures that came into this facility.
Do they
Glancing
look
around,
like
same thing. You see the same thing over in Brotor's cell. You what you thought was an intact cell, that entire circle seems to have been ripped up and fractured and taken apart.
does with the one with my perception check, am I able to tell if it's gems or dragon shards? And do I get a sense of what ripped it up? Like how? Does it look like a creature ripped it up, or like claws, or
In with that 22, you're not quite sure to be able to discern gems versus dragon shards. That's a good point. And you see numerous spots that look like it was chunked out with maybe like a large rock. And you see several broken rocks around. You also are able to make out what seems to be remnants, having recently seen a couple of teleportation circles, what seems to be remnants of a teleportation circle that was scribed in blood.
She could be anywhere.
looks like she teleported out from here?
Oh boy.
I mentally I kind of close, like, take a moment to kind of turn away for a moment and mentally close my eyes, and I mentally go like, oh, how much time did we lose?
Roll me a percentile die.
Come on. You're the one who wants me to kill someone.
Nyx, with Kiss being it's coming up to Nyx. Nyx is kind of still like a little bit shell shocked. But yeah, she would take her hand and just kind of nod and get up. Probably, like, she'd probably still hold her hand a little bit after she's standing. She's like, "You all right?"
Yeah, is everyone okay?
Is there anything we can retrieve from herself?
I'm just kind of standing there, like,
there's-
pinching my head. I hear like this, just obviously in deep, like, thinking.
I'm gonna go
There's
check on Z.
remnants of gems or crystalline structures that look like they were torn apart with stone. I'm starting to get really worried that we haven't seen Brotor in a while.
I've been worried. Also, So the little boxes are also gone?
Yes, the little boxes are also gone.
But they were open,
Rigs.
right?
Yeah, they were open, but they have disappeared.
That she
Rix,
put one of them under the floor there.
with your 98. About an hour. Nothing to worry about. You still got plenty of time.
What
Can
happened?
you insight check the traveler?
What happened?
Roll me another percentile check.
If you, traveler. Eh.
You get the sense that the presence that was there, like when he came up, when you rolled your 98, there was a moment of silence, almost like a thinking, kind of analyzing the situation silence, and then what he reported, and now you don't feel the presence at all, as it has seemed to have dissipated.
Yeah. The seed of doubt has been planted. And I kind of clenched my jaw for like a half second, like, and he turns to like, we've lost about an hour. An hour.
To go.
Bruce is gonna reach down and pick up the pipe and start smoking again.
Nick's just gonna start moving.
I'm gonna go to my sister and check her over.
Jalira?
I'm gonna check in on Z, and while I'm there, I'm gonna mention to her that this is probably something she should tell our house about. Not what we're doing here, just that she exists and she's out. It's up to you, though. If there ever was an dangerous, aberrant dragon-marked individual, he should hunt down.
Hey, Mike.
Hold
Is
on,
there anybody?
I want to kind of get Z's response. Z hasn't really said anything since
Yeah,
waking
she woke up. Yeah. Oh boy.
Let's see.
Just do the camera quick.
Next time I can be in communication with my house, this might be something to bring up. But I would like to see if we can somehow take care of it first. I don't particularly want to get my house involved with anything that we as a group have looked at lately.
She said we had a year and a day.
That doesn't actually mean that I want to give her a year and a day to wreak whatever freaking havoc she wants to in the world.
You okay?
I mean, we'll have to see how everything pans out, and if that is the last resort left for taking her down, then we will. But I would like to avoid that particular option as long as possible, given who we are and what we're doing right now, and all of the secrets that we would need to keep from my house at the moment. They are the house of finding, after all, and I don't want them trying to find out my secrets.
Maybe if we could distract them.
Nyx is gonna I'm not gonna so they're all doing this. She's kind of getting out of there. She's gonna start heading back.
I follow after
Okay.
her.
Now, Kizriel, what did you want to say?
It was related to what Jalira said and Julia point or that I had that.
Yeah, that we were done.
It's something that I probably like to talk to you about at some point. But it's backstory related. Well, is that all we can find in this room?
The remnants of magic that were in the room that you were able to detect are no longer there. Bruce, as you smoke your pipe and glance around. Other than the very faint magic coming from the lamps.
May I shoot my bow into that cell, just like where her head would have been?
Roll me an attack.
Hey,
Hey,
Z.
you thread that arrow through the hole. It hits the wall, sticks.
Okay. You ready to go? I assume at this point we're going back upstairs.
What were you saying, Bruce?
He was calling the name.
Z come forward. Looking at the transportation circle, is there any way to figure out where in the world she went? Like with Z's knowledge of magic?
No, it seems as if part of it was erased, and it's not the same designs. It doesn't mirror the designs that you're familiar with.
Z gave them all a lecture on teleportation circles, right? Back
I
on
do
the
believe
ship
so.
when we found one.
Yeah, I think so.
So Bruce
Sounds
is
like
going to point at it and be like, she had to teleport to an established circle, right?
Logic follows, yes.
Yep. So I don't know what circles she would have been aware of, given what we read about in her file.
Is the
Other
Other
than
facilities?
what?
Other facilities?
Runes
Like Red
that
Hearth?
are still existent, because it seems like with the blast, part of the circle itself was destroyed. But the runes in this are of a different make. They're different scribing. They do not seem like they would be the same type as the facility of the circle that you've seen here, nor do they match the same type of runes that are found in Book's circle. And with that, it is 8:30. We're going to go ahead and take our break. Welcome back to our campaign, where the Shadowslayers have just had a rather, I wouldn't call it anticlimactic, but a little anticlimactic. You know,
I
like
would.
there was not the fight that you guys expected it to be, but there stuff went down. Stuff happened. You guys learned that she is no longer in the building. That being said, Nyx has wandered off, needing space away from everybody, head down, just trying to sort out what's going on. Rix is trying to keep his eyes on who he can, but still keeping an eye on his sister.
I do
Zanim has moved forward to talk with Bruce about the...
I do kind of just to Jalera go, psst, Jalera. Cherry. Cherry, come here.
No, she's down here.
I'm down here.
Oh, okay.
As you move towards the door, a little disoriented from passing out, like you move towards the other room as like she's like, "Psst, come here," like it starts to get a little quieter, and you're like, oh wait, turn around. Kind of shaking out your head a little bit.
I look to Cherry and I kind of glance in the direction that Nyx has gone, and I look to her and I was like, Nyx, I mean, Bruce sort of was like on Nyx, not like that, when she first woke up, I think, and she seems kind of, taken aback by it, possibly. Could you talk to her, maybe see how she's doing? She looks like she wants her space, but perhaps, she doesn't quite need me. So I mean, just if she doesn't want to talk to you either, I mean, it's a thing. But I feel like you might be better off doing that, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Thank you. I'll go keep Fixer company. Okay, and I make my way back this way, and I'm hanging out with Fixer and Liz. But I think so. You can go back to, I guess, Zanin and
We're gonna go to
Liz.
Cherry approaching Nyx right now
Oh.
because Zanim is not back yet from
Mm.
putting small ones
The
down for
traveler to bed.
bedtime.
The traveler.
The
needs to-
traveler.
That's
the
what the traveler
traveler.
is. Going down for his nap, or going to bed with a belly
He's
full of
going to bed.
spaghetti.
No, teriyaki chicken and rice. With carrots.
Oh.
A brownie and a gingerbread man.
Oh my gosh! No wonder he's passed out. There's a lot of sugar.
Hey.
She's sitting against the wall, on the floor, kind of knees up to her chest when Julia comes in, holding her head. But yeah, she looks up. She's like, "Oh, yeah. Are we good to go? Are we going?"
I don't know. Z went to look at something. I don't know. I want to go check on the teleportation circle. Because she left with those spell capturing boxes. Just hope that the spell's okay.
You need to do then. Probably.
Are we sure she took them away?
Are you talking about the living spell?
Yeah, I want to just make sure she didn't take it.
Oh, okay.
You gonna tell anybody before you head off that way?
Probably a fair thing to do.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
She's not gonna split the group.
Ah,
Split
come
the
on.
party.
Yeah, that's probably a good thing to do. Julia would notice that her the mark on her face is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Nyx, your mark's gone. Did you know?
Yeah, it moved. It's and she's gonna go ahead and show a little on her show her chest. She's like, I can't see very much, but yeah, it's here.
It's bigger than it was. Does that mean it's stronger?
Yeah, I suppose so. Probably, because I did kind of connect and talk with her, agree to more.
Did she do?
Moved off the face, so you know that.
But did A1131 did she do anything to you?
I don't think so. I don't know. Did she do something to you? Or anyone else?
Bruce seemed fine. He seemed rattled. Seemed worried about. I don't know if he was worried about you or Zeke. Both?
Zeke. That's he noticed and checked. It's the one that found it. I didn't know what had happened.
I mean, I'm sure he was worried about you too, not just your mark.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't really want to go back in there.
Just gonna wait. I think we should check on everyone. I need to get a rest. Ready for the Emerald Claw.
absolutely terrible, I'm kind of relieved.
I don't know. Kind of just angry. I want to tear her apart. Fed up.
While you two sit there in the circle room discussing this, Zaneem and Bruise, you've been looking at the circle. The circle doesn't look like any of the other circles that you've seen thus far.
I don't know, maybe copy down some of the notes so that way if we see something like it later, or maybe Book can make something of it if we get back and he's alive. And also, I thought whatever's left, I know there ain't much, but the glyphs and stuff here might be worth marking down, as they kept the powerful aberrant mark at bay for a long time. So maybe that could be useful if you want to mark down some notes. Also, I think there's like gemstones or something in here that I don't know, might be salvageable, if not now, later.
Okay. So you roll me another Arcana check.
So this is me, but not necessarily Z. Z would probably know. Would it be a smart idea to just start like sketching runes like that? I didn't mean to roll it twice. Sorry.
No, that 15 was when you originally moved into the room before. This was for another check. You're good. You didn't roll it twice.
Okay.
As long as you don't conjoin them and connect them, you could probably get away with it without, causing your spell crystal to be sealed or to, contain yourself in a dragon mark in a magic circle of some kind. You're qualified to draw and write and design and sketch. 21. As Bruce you kind of get a rundown of what's happened between Bruce and Kiz there. Approaching where you're standing, you look down. As you pass through the doorway, you could see remnants of it. Here you could see remnants of a spell, if not directly, then related to Glyph of Warding.
Okay.
And you know that there is a material cost for that has to come from somewhere. And with Bruce's mention of potential gemstone or dragon shards in the now torn up circle rings, you kind of infer that that's probably where she got the necessary materials to lay down the spells that she laid down to have happen in this place. As you kind of sketch down, I'm going to keep that 21 for as you start sketching down symbols. You're able to kind of pull out some of the more identifying pieces of the teleportation circle mark, as well as some of the pieces of the separate layers. As you look at the cell that Brotor was in, you see there's about 3 layers to that warding. However, the one in her cell has about 5 layers, so there isn't a few extra additions that were put in after the initial ones were laid down. Your best guess is that the more layers, the stronger the hold.
Mm-hmm. I would explain all of this to Bruce and like magic lecture while I'm writing.
Taking notes, examining. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So anything that Z kind of figures out using her magical expertise, she's happily lecturing on. You can see she's kind of in her element trying to figure this out and lecturing, even if it's just to her brother.
Even if it's just
Israel,
her brother, thanks.
What?
You asked if there were gems in her cell. What do you mean by that?
I was confused by how she got the material components thing.
She ripped up the circles.
She repurposed her.
She repurposed bits and pieces from the warding circles.
That's pretty cool. Ain't gonna lie.
So that would have been
say
after
anything.
whatever happened to release her.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Like, Jared was saying that, G just to her brothers. He wouldn't have said that. He can just like see that she's kind of missing the teaching thing. She misses, her thing.
I was being sarcastic.
I know you were, but Z wouldn't have said anything obnoxious to him.
That's not
So
true.
meh.
That I don't believe.
Israel, while Z and Bruce are going over this, what is you'd like to be doing?
I think she's listening and looking around. The destruction. Do we think it was caused by probably her breaking the seals? Is that what you think?
There was a bit of a rumble when Rick sent that corruption back up her way. It's a chance that when you mix a couple of different things, that problems can ensue.
Boom, boom.
And you guys did give it 9 hours before, or more than 9 hours before you came up here and looked. So,
Boom, boom magic.
All right.
as you search that top left-hand corner, you find the other remains of the remains of the other guard hound, half buried in rubble that fell from the ceiling.
Well, if rubble is all we need to defeat you, stupid.
Don't look at the crystal.
Step away from the crystal.
Okay.
Have a little
You guys
bit of
finish
time.
right. You finish recording the things that you think you're going to find of most interest and most value in education and learning, for possible potential further use.
Bruce is gonna see if there's any anything of worth that could still be taken out of these, or if everything's spent.
Roll me an investigation check.
Cool. Ten.
If you are willing to take the time, you could probably find some worth for the remaining bits that are there. You're not sure how much. Kind of taking a quick glance over, kind of looking at it. Bits were chunked up, but there's probably something here. You're not entirely sure how much. But stuff like this could be reprocessed down. You know that Cherry has ground down stuff at the forge downstairs. There might be something worth harvesting here, but you're not able to tell how much you'd be able to get out of it at this time.
There might be stuff worth pulling out of here, but I figure we can save that for later. Looking around and seeing that the group's kind of split, he's like, we should probably, if you're done, we should probably all get back together.
We have enough time sitting. Nyx would probably talk to Jalera a little more.
Okay. What would you like to say to Jalera? It's going to take Z a little bit to record down what she's learning and stuff. So
yeah, I do think that it would be after a few minutes, and she would of quiet, that she would be like, Do you still miss Friedrich?
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to not think about it. Thinking about it hurts. That's at this point, I think Jalira just leaning against the wall next to her. Casually.
Do you think that you love him?
Yeah. I mean, Z would often ask me why I never asked him out, or like never asked me out. I mean, we're both shy. We were happy with our work setup, and maybe he didn't feel the same, but honestly, he made me think the possibility was still there. Me to hold a torch. Yeah. He he taught me how to like myself. And that was I guess that sounds weird, but that was a very important thing to learn. I was just worth liking. That's sounding weird. It's not coming out right.
Makes perfect sense to me. Actually, I think I understand.
And I mean, he just made me want to make the world a better place. Just, I guess that's one thing I keep thinking now. If we were to run away and not doing anything, he'd still be living in a world at threat of a madman, a warforged madman, and I can't just leave it like that, knowing that he was out there somewhere, still vulnerable to that. And it just made me want to be a better person, just always. So,
Regret your feelings?
huh?
Do you regret falling for him?
He's a good guy.
Do you regret never asking him out? Trying to see where it went?
Yeah. I always imagine. I mean, he's a dwarf. He's a lot older than me. So that was always something I was anxious about, because I'm just going to be so short-lived in comparison to that. So maybe not kids in a house so much, but I always thought he'd at least be my first. Hey, why do you ask? I mean, do you have regrets? I mean, I know you do. Sorry, that's...
Well, you did say that. It hurts to think about him. How did you be around him for so long? Not know, not do anything. That hurt?
Sometimes, but I mean, there's sometimes that we had these projects we did together. That whole, she's going to gesture to some of her gear and how, pointing specifically at the circuitry. I mean, this whole thing, he helped me come up with these projects we did together. And like I said, every once in a while. It's gonna sound so stupid. Every once in a while, our hands would brush or something, and I lived for those moments. It made it worth it. Oh gosh, I sound so pathetic.
You know, it doesn't sound pathetic.
If staying away from Sharn would keep him safe, I would do it. But I do want to go back. Guess
She'd take her hand a bit. Sorry, I've not been the most understanding of friends.
I can't even fathom what you've gone through. I want to be able to, so I can try and empathize better, and so I can find some way to help. But
Well, I've never been able to empathize with what you've gone through. It's just been on this trip that I've figured out a lot of it. But
I am glad how close we all got. To some degree. I still don't know where I stand with Bruce. Once I think I'm okay, and then
definitely times I don't know where I stand with you.
you what?
There are definitely times I don't know where I stand with you. I seem to say the wrong things most of the time.
Oh well. I don't know why. I feel I always felt like I was doing things wrong, but for some reason, ever since coming to the Mournlands, I've been feeling a little more confident in my skills of. Oh gosh, I feel more confident in my skills of not being a blabbermouth because we haven't been around people.
We have had Brotor and the crazy lady who found out everything anyway, and there's plenty of people that you could have. So we've been around people.
I'm getting better at them. I think. I mean, I ramble. That's different than a blabbermouth. Right.
You're fine. You've been fine. Don't worry. But
And I've been appreciative of you've been trying to teach me to be better about some of these things. I know I got snippy about them, especially at Rose Quarry, but I had no idea how to. Oh, Rose Quarry was crazy, and then Bruce and Ricks were just going on in the background about Christmas hams. Oh,
I want to apologize because I did upset you with a comment about your note. At least you have someone out there. I'm not sure what I said wrong exactly, but it did hurt your feelings. And I don't understand why.
wait, which comment was it?
Back when we were at the doors, and I commented, well, you do have someone that with a note out there that cares about you.
Because you always had Ricks.
I know.
I
guess.
Look, I've thought about why I've dropped off a lot from my life. I've always wondered if it was the shame of having this for baby.
And a human having something like me. I don't know if that's possible, really, but no, I know that feeling. But I
think I was just upset because it felt like you had Rex. So no matter what flimsy artifacts of a possible origin story you had something physical. You had someone there.
know a lot of what's happened on this adventure has made it painfully clear that there's a good chance Rix and I aren't actually related.
You thought you were, and that was close enough. And I mean,
I know.
and if I kind of realized that, I guess if I had realized that if we just focused on our similarities instead of our differences, I could have bonded a little quicker with you guys as well. So we'll figure it out. I mean, eventually. It just, yeah. You're fine. Don't worry about me.
Anyway, I was just we're good. I just I'm jealous a little of that note. Of that you have someone that cares. There's a good chance that I was just dropped in a basket with another baby. Or who knows?
I did find a lot of comfort in it. I'll have to say that.
I mean, someone does care. They don't want to get rid of you.
And you have
Plus,
family
you've
that
got
love
all
you.
of us.
Huh? Yeah.
Plus, you've got all of us.
We've all got each other.
Yeah.
As this tender moment resolves, Kisriel, you kind of come down the hallway, approaching Rix.
Oh no, that's not who she was after.
Brush by Rix, straight for Gora.
Okay. It's okay.
Who's the
There's
good
nothing
king?
personal. It's fine. No, don't worry. I'm just sitting here hanging out with a construct and a dinosaur. No big deal. It's fine. It's cool. I'm just kidding.
This being the first time that Liz and Fixer have really had a chance to meet.
I feel like I'm watching Discovery, like National Geographic, as I'm watching both of them.
Why?
I'm
what were they
sorry,
doing for an
Liz
hour
would have
we were
met
out?
Fixer before, just not the new evolved form of Fixer.
With wings! I think Fixer might fly around, try to play around a bit.
I mean, that would be totally fun, but Liz would have absolutely met Fixer before this.
Yeah, but now Liz can teach Fixer about how all the ins and outs of flying.
Does Fixer have an intelligence score?
Yeah.
Oh, he's smarter than Gora.
He's the one that's performing surgery every once in a while. You'd hope he'd have something.
Oh, okay.
AT-12 kind of like hopping, trying to get attention of Liz and Fixer as they're flying around, figuring things out. And Rix, you find yourself just breathing in this moment of cuteness between the two construct creatures and Liz, all just kind of getting to know each other again, seeing each other, interacting.
I'm kind of just looking around, just smiling.
Kind of look up as Kiz comes down the hallway and right past you.
It's okay. I know exactly who she's going for. And yeah, I just kind of just chill there, just like enjoy the sight of them kind of playing around. It's kind of like almost like a moment's respite, you know? And hoping that, you know, things are going okay for Cherry and Nyx, and kind of passively paying attention to what Bruce and Zanim are doing, but I probably can't hear too much, even with a passive perception of higher than I usually roll.
You find yourself distracted by the aerial
Yeah.
display between Fixer and Liz, and AT-12 crawling up on the walls, crawling onto you.
Kind of just observing the way that Fixer is built with the wings and stuff, and kind of thinking about how those would look on boots.
Notes to be taking and thinking about. Bruce and Neem, you finish up in the top chambers. Or anything else you want to do before you come down and join the rest of the party? Assuming bold assumption on my part that you want to come down and join the rest of the party.
Yeah, I think he doesn't have anything else.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else.
Just to recheck, the scavenging of the circles is not a right now project, but a we should come back to that at some point project, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, Bruce might have tried a bit while she's taking notes if he had time, but he's not putting a lot of time or effort into it.
Okay. Okay. You guys come down to see Liz and Fixer and AT-12 playing around Rick's, Kiz cuddling with Guara. And what are you guys doing?
Are we ready to go?
Yeah, let's head back up and go get our rest, or go set some traps or something for the Emerald Claw, and then get our rest so we can do this fight thing.
Do we want to swing by the kitchens and pick up anything for them?
Wine? I'm sorry. You don't have to get it. It's fine.
What?
Just thought that a wine would be nice. It's all.
Oh, I thought you said fine. I'm like, well, let's stop by the kitchen. Let's bring back some stuff for Odeon and Colin.
And you guys can grab stuff too. I mean,
Wine is good.
Wasn't there a
what?
pie?
A pie? There was a pie?
Right. Am I remembering correctly?
I don't think I threw it at anybody.
There was indeed a pie.
And it survived. Come on, let's go.
Nobody got it tossed. Yeah, I think it survived.
Oh, that's because
Unless it was-
really wanted to eat it.
It's because it wasn't a banana cream pie. It wasn't meant to be thrown.
I think it was. I think it was apple because there were apples.
So I guess we are going to go to the junctions and use the keys. I will go for there right now. Kind of just glance around to see what Nyx and
Do you guys hug?
Cherry.
Cherry and Nyx hug. Are you guys hugging people?
Are you huggers? I know Cherry's a hugger.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Is Nyx a hugger?
Told you, Cherry was a nut hugger.
Yeah, she's a cuddly person too.
You say it like an
Oh,
accusation.
It was a side conversation they had. They did just talk about.
It's just funny. It's all.
You come around the corner, you hear them saying, "Oh, so we're fine, we're all fine, we're fine with each." Yeah, we're fine, we're good, we're good.
All right.
And you come around the corner, you see them kind of hugging it out a little bit,
Okay.
and there you sense the conversations kind of come down.
Yeah, and as I'm walking, I kind of speak a little louder to hint to them that we're coming. And I'll be like, so, you said there was a pie, correct?
I hope it's still there. Let's go.
Gosh, I really hope. I don't want to know what sort of magic she did to this place before she left. And there's wine? There was more than just the bottle that Bruce had?
I mean, it's weird because some things, like the Bornland magic affected, and some of the things it didn't.
Wine gets better with age, it's fine.
Well, some of them might have been just like new wine, so
Plus some wine turns to vinegar.
Yeah, it's not
Only
terrible.
if it gets exposed. Okay.
Well, we'll grab multiple ones and we'll check.
I guess we'll just have to check them all.
let's bring back some stuff first. Oh yeah, we didn't bring the bag of holding. How many apples can you fit in there?
Did you see?
You can crusted orange shards.
We
Do you
probably
think-
want to stick it in something.
Oh gosh, those
Do you
things.
think we can use that scrying circle to find her?
We want to try?
It's odd that it was already set up, ready to go.
We never figured out how to set it.
If we want to look into that, I would also really quick. I would like to request we check on the teleportation circle.
All right. Well,
I
that's. Well,
just want to make sure she didn't take it.
well, we've got an orange key right here, so we can start there. And let's start with this one.
Scrying, kitchen, teleportation circle, back upstairs.
Yeah, and then
When we were coming down, didn't you go look and see the teleportation circle?
It's true.
we didn't look at the circle itself. We just looked at the path, and it was looked undisturbed.
I think she wants to see if the spell is still there.
We want to make
Okay.
sure Allie didn't eat it or something.
It's fair.
We know that she teleported inside her cell.
Yeah.
That she didn't actually leave her cell to go teleport in the teleportation room.
She just left
Yeah.
us a
Nick
little
does
trap.
not know this.
She had the boxes for capturing spells.
Okay.
Do we know that specifically it was for that?
Well, sort of.
We knew it could work.
Seems to be a working theory.
Okay.
Are we sure
I
there
just
aren't
wasn't
more
sure
of
if we-
those in this facility?
We found the spot where we could enchant them, or
And only,
maybe even capture. I'm not sure.
we're just missing. If we could find a purple key at some point, we could. There are a couple of things we could investigate, but we'd need to find a purple key.
Let's get moving. Don't have
Well-
that much time.
Yeah,
We need to break.
we need a rest. We need a rest.
We didn't hear us.
I mean, if she did Pokemon the spell, it's not going to make much difference if we do it now or after that.
Yeah, I would rather go rest and deal with the Emerald Claw and then maybe figure out what else is going on here before we do our next step, whatever that is. One thing at a time seems like a good idea.
Yeah,
Since this step we tried to take turned into a spectacular success.
well,
All right. Kitchen.
I don't think we're gonna. I don't know if anyone's gonna find us. It'll be a. And as I'm saying this as we're like turning the key and
Well,
moving.
We're checking. We're going.
We're
Checking on the-
we're going to the We're gonna check the scrying room
Scrying.
first, which is the orange key, right there. But as as we're turning the key and doing all of this, I'm just kind of just like talking, and he's like, well, I don't think we're going to find her unless she wants to be found at this point. So we've got a year to get ready for that.
I mean,
I
we have a
suppose.
tracker.
Somehow I don't think she's going to be quiet for a year.
I think
But
if
we could-
she's going to do anything that's loud, it's going to involve an army.
Still, I think it'd be good to get the House of Finding aware that she's a threat, and but find a way to somehow keep us out of the narrative completely. That's the question.
Tangled web we are in.
We'll have to discuss it.
And kind of just so
And
giving the
yeah.
DM time to change maps.
That's
C's
strange.
nervous about it, and obviously we don't want to put anybody they love in danger. So
So
We'll have to see what happens next.
yeah, I will move forward. Kind of go this way.
with all the people we are loving and trying to protect, if we all decide to die, it's not matter. Ow! Sorry, cat just
We ever
bit.
figure out?
Can I investigate this or investigate this room again?
What are you
DM
searching for?
with like, I know there were some things in here. Just like I know, like you said there were like switches, like their movement or something like that. Like there were things that were there before. I guess I don't know if we had found everything we were supposed to find in this room necessarily. Treat this like a video game dungeon, but I just wanted to kind of give another look around, maybe like test some things around the room.
Make
Are
an
any of the
investigation.
objects selectable?
Is it selectable now that we've got some new stuff? 15.
Like this one had like it had material components in the.
What
Did
did
you
it?
investigate, check the room, search around? Nothing seems to stand out than what's already been found at this time.
Okay, just figured I'd give it one more of a once over. We're at the store. And I guess we're just going to go.
Nix, as you enter the scrying room, it remains the way it was when you first were there. Still focused on that pit of molten metal. Though you can see that the glass around the chest has been fractured and broken up. The glass columns in there have not seen fit to barf up more glass upon it.
Do you know how to change scryings?
Is there any chance that there's any of the detect magic left from when Bruce cast it?
Not at this time, no.
Okay. Well, looking at Cherry and looking at Z.
Do either Cherry or Z have scrying prepared and on their
We haven't had
Mm-mm.
access to that spell?
That's right. Now that scrying is
Fifth level
a
spell.
fifth level,
That's
so
a
I don't
fifth
think
level.
I don't think any of them have it. You don't see a way to activate or change the scry that is currently set in the room.
I've never seen a scrying spell installed like this before.
Kind of.
I mean, I haven't seen too many scrying spells. The concept.
Me either.
I would hope there'd be a control. Maybe it's a remote and someone took the remote with them.
She's not going to see us.
Scrying
Oh.
room is a dangerous tool. We don't know who else might be watching.
Not all of them have been accounted for.
No idea how to change this, right? Let's get going.
Right, yeah, it looks like it was a bust.
Should I try punching it?
No, please
Oh.
don't. No, please don't. Look, I point to Cherry as she's like, it took us some
It
time.
hasn't been long enough that we can joke about that.
No, not nearly.
I don't know.
All right, we were checking kitchen next, so we have to go to the next green one, and then that's a brown one.
Zanim, as you are the last one to leave,
The door's shut.
you see Oriana coming over to this area. And you see Oriana head over towards the chest. And you see Oriana open the chest. And begin kind of rifling through what's there, looking at what had been placed there. She begins unwrapping the large thing that's in it, looking at it. Not entirely sure what it is, but, you know, she's just kind of looking at it. Kind of folds the wrappings back over and shuts the chest. And then opens the chest again and unfolds it and picks it up and is just like trying to figure out what it is.
Curiosity killed the cat. Curiosity's gonna kill that artificer.
Z would laugh a little bit about it. And then, leave the room. I mean,
Z thought it was funny.
Z thought it was funny.
Z leaves.
Like, yep, I can understand being frustrated when you don't really understand what's going on.
All right, pit stop in the kitchen and then back up.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want us to save you the tension of moving a bunch of maps for that?
We'll go straight to the kitchens.
Thank you. It's probably easier on you. So having to go to
I'm not gonna lie, like that's where I thought you guys were going. So I had preset.
Oh.
I had the kitchen preset to go, and then you're like, "Stop in the scrying room!" I'm like, crap, go back.
Hold on. Sorry, I'm sorry about this, Mike.
Okay.
I want to check Brotor again.
Body of Brotor.
Orange door or yellow door, right?
You don't have to, unless you want to do that. We can just.
I did have some questions I wanted to ask the librarian.
Cherry.
Okay.
Bruce is gonna head down.
As we're walking, it's like, Cherry, I was wondering, I had this idea about shoes that, and I kind of look at then kind of point toward Fixer. You're like, that maybe like could give me flight. I mean, I don't know any spell like that. I don't know if you know any spell like that, but it would be something maybe down the road we could explore.
I mean, you have no traction to keep your feet straight, so what's going to keep you from just going first?
My natural dexterity.
Alright.
Chapel, you see the covers and bundle that is Brotor's body in the back.
I thought we propped him up on a bench.
Now we dumped his body in the back.
No, it's from here.
Yeah,
We
a
did put
pew
him on a
bench.
pew.
Sorry.
That's where his body was when you guys were last in this room.
Rip.
So wherever he's, Bruce goes over and he's gonna check his neck.
As you reach down towards Brotor's body, your hand passes through the illusion that's there, disrupting it and causing it to disappear.
Mother ever.
Why would she do that?
Because she wanted his mark. His mark was on his body.
But he's dead, so it doesn't. What difference does it make? It doesn't have any power behind it.
Well, it can rip off the box and take it from the body.
Yeah, but why leave? Why does she
When
need
they're
his whole
dead.
body?
Well, it depends on how she got it.
That would explain why Broto's gone. Probably. What do you think? Do you think she bribed him?
Here's going to take off and run down the hall.
She would take it.
We
No,
haven't
she
seen
should
his
take off
ghost
running.
in a while.
We haven't seen his ghost for a while. Like,
Do you think it's possible she revived him and then took it?
I mean, she could offer him a body, and he could
Well,
help her get out, and then she just takes the mark. I mean, we did kind of kill him.
Yeah, but
I mean, who knows? Maybe she didn't. I don't know. But maybe she somehow brought him back. Isn't that what that one house could do?
Either way, Broto's gone. Broto's gone. And so is she.
Cherry ran off to see if the forge is still intact. And if it is,
The forge does appear to still be intact.
touch it.
Touch it to make sure it's not an illusion.
just make sure it's
This
not an
whole
illusion.
place is an illusion. We wake up in a Barovia.
No, we wake up back in that room. Like, we never actually lived. We all fell in the mist like Rick's did.
Rip.
So which
Welcome
cell did you
to
guys want to be
Barovia.
in? There were 6 in addition to Allie. No, kidding. Jalera, the forge seems to be as it was.
Okay,
As far as
I'm
you
gonna
can tell, it's still the same. Nyx, as you rush into the library itself seems to be there. However, the bookcase door was open has been closed.
Well, it closes on its own.
There's a new mimic inside waiting.
It's gonna go ahead and open it.
If she's killed him, then I think we're getting a sense of her power level.
The statue still remains. It's there, standing there at the doorway.
Mr. Librarian, there's a chance that White Hearth might be attacked soon. I was wondering if you knew anything about the facility that might help us protect it.
Roll me a persuasion check.
Persuasion because you're innocent.
The facility does contain a number of defenses that can be used to keep itself from being entered by those who would force entry. However, I'm not entirely sure how many of those systems are online at this time.
I know the back door had glass golems.
I feel like I had another
Is there
question.
something specific that you are looking for?
She didn't think she'd have an opportunity to actually ask this question, so she didn't bother to try to remember them or write them down.
I can always activate emergency protocol and ensure that the knowledge kept herein is destroyed and cannot be shared with anybody else.
Let's hold off on that.
Baby, that's fair.
Let's hold off on that.
Can you just
We still hope to be able to save the world one of these days.
One of these days. Oh boy.
Right. She's got a dwarf she's fighting for.
We have a dwarf we're fighting for.
So is the front door to the facility a big garage door? Do you know?
What's a garage? What's a door?
It's a garage, like a banana.
Okay.
Are you referring to the workshop bay doors that are located on the orange level?
I think so.
No, those are not the front doors. Those open out onto a cliff face that has an illusion over it to keep it from being seen by the naked eye outside the facility.
So
Okay,
we
awesome.
found
So
the
they
The drop
probably-
from there would kill most things.
Awesome. That means they're probably not coming in through there. Okay, awesome.
Where's
Thank
the
you.
front door?
Is the front door nearby, but kind of like this little out? Is the front door near there?
You proceed from the orange level up. I believe there is a blue door there, or a door of some kind. It's been a while. Allow me to access the archive. He walks out, touches a part of the bookcase, and you see flashing almost like loading circles in where his eyes are as he researches all of the books in the library. Ah, yes. It is not a key door. It does go straight up about 15 to 20 more stories, at which point it exits out of a disguised rock formation at the top of the cliff. That is what they have considered the front door.
Siri,
Where
can
is
you let
that
us know the
staircase?
nearest restaurant to the entrance of the forge?
Siri, where is the nearest sheets to this location? Zanim likes
I'm
frozen hot
assuming that's the
chocolate.
name of the robot.
Is there anything you need?
Gosh, frozen hot chocolate sounds good.
Oh gosh, don't make it self-aware.
It just stares at you for a moment. Some new reading material would be nice.
All right. Who's got Tusk
Jerry
Glove?
pulls out.
Yeah, like someone give him Tusk Love. That's a newer work. They wouldn't have had that here.
I'll keep my eye open. We're gonna do good. Take care. Bye.
What staircase was he talking about to keep going up?
What's going on?
I'm wondering at the raw horror that most of the party will feel when they realize that in this world, Tusk Love was written by Gimbal.
Not horrified.
Eh,
Just sad. Actually horrified. I didn't ask for an autograph when I was there. Jeez.
I'm going to give you one guess who that character was based on.
All right.
Oscar.
Hey,
Z would be pretty
High or
horrified
low?
by that.
It's based on Surf.
Who's calling this one?
It's based on Surf.
oh, that would be you, sir. You, sir.
Oh no, I'm going to hand this over to Zaneem.
High or low, Zaneem? High or low?
Hi.
That's good for me to know for later future reference.
What is Gimbal's pen name?
Is he getting royalties?
Matilda Mercer.
That being
So, kitchen? Are we-
Food. Food.
Nyx transformed and she checked to make sure that the mark of Kenneth was on her chest now, or she wasn't sure to see if the mark changed. But it looks like now.
Can you do me a favor and get out of your character sheet for a moment?
Me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you.
Sure. Okay.
As you take the form of the worker woman that you had previously taken the form of, you feel a cold shiver run through your dragon mark. And a little bit of a brain freeze type feel in your head as you shake it off and look down. It is indeed, it's the same mark that's always appeared whenever you've activated this. It's a little bit bigger. However, you also find that you have the sudden urge to try and fix something. So you reach into your backpack and you grab out the thrice exploded robes. And you find yourself beginning to cast mend on the robes. And then you have another feat in your character sheet.
More feet than monk at this point.
Yeah, kinda. I mean, A113 is more Dragon Mark power than anything else at this point, so. As this is the first form that you've chosen to take, until you finish another long rest, you cannot select a different one. But when you finish a long rest, you can select a different form and view the features there under that feat. That being said, as you guys all walk in, you see Nyx in her backpack starting to do a very familiar spell as Cherry, as you walk up, like super satisfied that you talked to the librarian, and like you look over and you just see the shirt starting to knit the robe starting to knit themselves back together.
Did your Mark's expansion give you basic cantrips?
Don't know.
Hmm?
I think maybe.
How about you never shift into somebody that has the death mark, and so we don't have to figure that out.
That's an elf, right? So to never be an elf.
Control of that one. I don't know if it'll be the elf, or it'll be the death, or the other.
Just never do
breathe,
it.
breathe.
But if
I
you
don't know what's going on.
you do half work, you might be able to do some finding. It just okay. I'm sorry.
No,
Just don't do
it's
elf.
okay.
You've got lots of other options.
I know.
You can shift.
Should
Transform into the mark of death, and somewhere Lady Elmara's head just.
I'm gonna hug her. I didn't mean to
a
freak her out.
different change.
It's like this will be interesting.
Just be careful.
What's going on?
Well, I changed into this, and the mark of Kenneth is there, and I now can mend things in this form with magic. The magic mendy thing that Julia does.
You became an artificer?
I don't know.
You've done brews, you know very well that the first level of becoming of a mark of making grants its wielder the use of the mending cantrip.
Oh shit!
How
It's gonna
much?
be so fun.
Oh, like this is totally gonna.
Wow,
my
we
God.
really can't take you anywhere.
Actually, I think we can take her everywhere.
Well, I suppose the better way. We really need to make sure nobody knows.
Ever finds out. My goodness, it'd be amazing.
That is the thing. Nobody can ever know.
Z's house can suck it. No offense, Z.
Z would flip him off. But it's kind of half-hearted because you can kind of see that she agrees a little.
Nice.
That's cool. It looks different too. Really, when I got to look at it.
Oh, can we talk about this on the way to the kitchen?
I'm really hungry.
We're doing green keys. We're walking and talking.
We're walking and
Okay,
talking. Walking and talking.
So
Okay, walking and talking.
Julia starts
it was like
spelling
more
everything
me.
that she learned about what the librarian told her, and then she's be like, "Oh, and Z, do you still have Tusk Love on you?
Yeah.
Or other books? The librarian would be interested in new material. I don't know if he has that one. I don't know.
I'm not gonna be able to get it back. He might tie it with
Oh, that's true.
string.
Okay. If we find a book that we think he'd be interested
We can talk to him. I mean, I've got, what is it, like 20 odd books in your bag of holding? I mean, I never leave home without at least 5.
I mean, a bunch of those are mine.
I'm talking about the books I brought, not your books. Your books are
Right,
separate.
so, where is the
You
wine?
didn't bring any books. We ran out of Sean.
All right, yeah, but let's describe.
Apartment first.
She describes what the garage door does, and she also describes how he described the front entrance. Everybody's on the same
Alright,
page.
so we don't actually.
So that's what your mark really looks like, Nyx.
Mm-hmm.
That what where?
I sent it to her.
Oh,
I've been holding
Fine,
all
then.
the bits and pieces and secrets for a while now. Okay. You guys approach through the green door up to the blue junction. You twist the brown key to come down to the dining hall.
I'm just going for it. I really want some wine.
Nick, as you kind of take a moment, you're still kind of focused on mending. You kind of stuff the robe back in the bag, and you look up, and you see that there is now a 9th gem floating in the center of the pedestal.
What
You see
That
the
is
color?
emerald?
blue. That is blue in color.
Does that sound
Am I
like only?
the only one seeing this?
Yes, you were the only one seeing this.
Oh,
Huh?
She's saying this. She's like, am I the only one seeing this?
Oh, I'm
Seeing
gone.
what?
I'm gone. I'm already late.
Rix is like, show me the wine.
Show me the wine.
The thing? The
see what?
See what?
There's another gem in the middle.
What color is it?
Oh,
Hmm,
Can I try to reach and touch it?
Bruce is gonna look.
Everybody kind of passes their hand through that gem.
Can you touch it?
You touch.
Again, due to its holographic nature, touching it with your hand goes through it.
Well,
she's
if you
gonna
have a
go
key.
ahead and get the key.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna. Are you
But
sure you don't want to wait
Rix
until
is
after
down
we
the
get
hole.
the pie?
Yeah, let's grab the pie real quick.
All
Hey,
right,
Rex!
then,
What?
let's
So you want the bottom left-hand corner, Rix, is where you see all the bodies lying there.
Like,
as you
he's
found
like,
other bodies
well,
there.
they kind of let me know ahead of time that was there were a bunch of people in stasis. I look at the wine bottles and I'm like,
As you go through, there's some good stuff there. There's stuff there that you haven't
cherry?
tried. There's stuff that you've dreamed about, that you've read about in some of the as one of your personalities was a wine connoisseur.
Yes, yes.
There's definitely some things there that you're excited about.
At first he's like, cherry. Someone with a bag of holding, please come here.
She's a little uncomfortable about the bodies, but they're not the first bodies that we've run across.
He's like,
oh,
open
you think we could
the bag. He immediately starts just grabbing bottles and shoving them into this bag.
You find 11
Careful.
bottles of decent wine,
Okay.
1 bottle of good wine, and then 2 bottles of exquisite wine.
All right. We're taking the 2 bottles of exquisite, the 1 bottle of pretty good, and decent wine. These people might wake up one day. We should leave them with something to celebrate with. I'll take 10. I'm just kidding. I'll take 3. I'll take 4 bottles of the decent wine.
Well,
As you look down, you also see that there are 2 tapped kegs of ale below the wine.
I'm not really an ale person.
beer.
Yeah, but you could leave that for them to celebrate.
That's fair. It's like I contemplate a moment. Hold on, I gotta check something real quick. I want to see how much of an alcoholic I am right now.
Kiz is going to go into where she saw the
I
meat.
have self-control, and I take 1 more, and I put it away.
Take one for a Colin and Oriana. Kiz takes like.
Oh, if you
would
insist, grab 2 more bottles.
There was a meats drawer. She's gonna
Mhm.
pull out a bunch of meats and throw those in the bag. And so, don't worry, we'll eat it tonight. We'll celebrate.
All right, I'll put this in here. 2 exquisite. What was the
This
one?
is like things of apples.
You had 1 decent, like one good quality. So there were 11 decent, 1 good quality, and 2 exquisite.
All right, we've got 5, 6, 7, 8 bottles of wine, meats. What else am I sticking in the bag?
Was there a block of cheese we didn't throw away?
You can find another
There you
block
go.
of cheese, yes.
There you
Heather?
go, Rogue. I put it in the chat. What I grabbed.
Bruce
We're
will
gonna grab
grab
all the pies and a bunch of.
That's what
a
I
bunch of
gave
mini
to
bags.
you.
the produce.
That's what I gave to you, and I grabbed the another decent one for myself and stick it in my bag.
Wait, okay, everybody. Actually, put a.
What?
I don't think it's
She
going
takes
anywhere.
the
We
meats
can
back out
come
and puts them on the counter next to the apples. She collects up the apples and the pie together, and she's like, "Okay,
Can we keep the meat separate from the? Okay.
okay, just a little
So-
bit. It's just it needs to all be in a 5-foot."
Bruce was
Radius.
going to pick up the 2 sacks of like apples and just carry them.
Okay, hold on. I'm hoping this will help. She's like, "Dragon Mark, do your stuff," and she casts Purify Food.
Oh. I don't know if I want you to do that to my wine.
Oh, that's fine. Let it stay poisoned. Needs to be poisoned.
I mean, if you purify it, I just get
Oh, I was
moldy
water.
grape juice,
Rot.
and that's it.
hoping that it'll like maybe eliminate the rotten ones. I don't know. I've never done the spell before. Let's see what it does.
You could make an argument that alcohol is poison.
I mean, usually when someone is drunk, I treat that as a poison state.
All right, and then we got a pie.
As you use your dragon mark, you purify the food in front of you. You kind of dig through the bag of apples, and at immediate notice, there is definitely no more rotted ones.
Heck yeah, Kaz.
Okay, so she puts the meats back in the bag. She grabs every pie she can find.
I tried to find containers to keep these in, so she's not just chucking it onto like her wood and stuff that's in there.
There is,
According to a
unfortunately,
quick search.
There's what?
Only one pie.
I'll
According
just
to a
hold
quick
it.
search. Yeah.
But Odiana
alcohol
has
is
some
considered a poison.
flour, so maybe she can. Wait, is there some sugar? Is there a bag of sugar or something we can take to her?
More flour for her, perhaps?
you find 4 1-pound bags of sugar.
Here you
Wait for
go.
all
They're
the
already
flour.
in bags.
There are some orange gems in there, okay? I just don't want them touching the food.
How long before it corrupts? We better go, guys. Can you
Okay.
just take
Is there anything else you look for?
We grabbed the cheese, we grabbed the pie, we grabbed some sugar for Odiana, we grabbed meats, dried meats. I grabbed a butt ton of wine. Trying to think of what else we could look around
What
for.
makes it a butt ton? Are you planning on booping it?
I don't know. That's the only one way to find out, I guess. Anyway, so we grabbed some apples as well. Are there any like vegetables or anything, like potatoes or anything?
You find 2 sacks of potatoes.
We grab a sack of potatoes.
Goodness, how much more room is in there?
This is the bigger bag that the Ironton folks gave us.
I mean, let's not take stuff that's not going to keep long enough.
Well, I mean, we
Well,
could
yeah.
get, if we have some oil, which I know Cherry has plenty of, we could fry them.
Well, the meat, the fried potato.
I'm just saying,
Does
fried
lamp
potatoes. Oh, delicious.
oil?
Let's see if there's vegetable oil. Let's get vegetable
Okay, I just don't know.
or lard.
I don't cook something oil.
As you dig through the cabinets, you find in one of the drawers is a cold storage drawer, or a cold storage cabinet, in which you find 4 small buckets of lard.
How do you keep the buckets from dumping out inside your bag of holding?
They're sealed on the top.
Oh, that's good.
This
I don't know what you ought to do for
temperature
water.
bag of holding.
Like as you find yourself talking back and forth, and it seems almost as if every time you ask, where is there this food, it just, you seem to find it after a
Magic
moment
kitchen.
of looking about for it.
I would like a McRib. I'm just kidding. I don't like McRibs. I think they're gross.
I would like a frozen hot chocolate.
In the cold storage, you find what seems to be a bottle of milk, and like in the cabinet above, you find powdered chocolate.
See?
And in a really small drawer in the back corner, you find that it is actually designed to create ice.
I'm going to guess that when we can't take these out of the facility, but hey, at least if we can get hopefully it'll let us keep what we've got because we won't be leaving the facility tonight. I want to go upstairs and see what happens if we stick these meats in Odeon's furnace.
Also, we apparently have 15 floors just to investigate.
Oh, we just need the front door. That's all we need for right now. We can explore everything else later.
But we can go have a nice little feast with Odeana and Collins, and then sleep.
You charge your catalysts, and we can
What do you
get
do
some
from here?
rest. I think we leave. We head out to. I don't think there was any pit stops along the way. I think we head back to where Odeana and
No,
Colin are.
no, there's the blue
Oh, that's
crystal.
right. The blue crystal in the middle. You right. You right.
You guys don't know that, but Ix is sitting there like, or
Bruce, you coming?
doesn't know. She didn't go.
Okay.
Puts bags over his back and walks like an orcish Santa Claus.
Potatoes,
Oh, I thought we didn't
boil 'em,
put
mash
the
'em,
apples
stick 'em in a stew.
You didn't want to stick them in the bag of holding?
We tried this key.
Okay.
There's a blue
Oh.
crystal in the center
Okay,
that I can see.
So she can
That no one
see.
else can see.
Ah, Kenneth's secrets.
but I think Bruce is kind of.
Surprise,
yeah.
surprise.
Should
I
I
don't
try?
I mean,
We
Maybe
want
it's
to do
like-
that now. Or later.
Maybe it's a location that's only available to people with higher levels of Dragon Mark.
Or it's a way out.
do we want to?
And we can have the back. We can go out the back entrance and around to the front. From the outside.
That's right.
This is
That's
at
how
the
we
top of
came
the
in.
Yes,
mountain.
that's right. This opened the door up top. This is where we came in, isn't it?
Yes. I'm not sure if that's the way, but if it is,
Well, I mean, I kind of pause for a second. I'm like,
The librarian said it was up a mountain.
we were climbing down quite a bit to get down here too, so we might have been on the lower end.
I mean, this was at the base of a cliff, so I imagine if we got all the way to the top.
All right.
But I feel like the easier path is going to be
through the
up
facility.
those stairs that were conveniently made.
Right. So we're good.
Okay. Let's.
Plus, I think there's still like
No,
I
there's
don't know if
options.
all those undead ape things are still dead, and there were some glass things left.
Are you sure you don't want to at least verify that it opens the door?
Maybe it just opens like another.
Do this real quick. She goes ahead and turns it in the center just to see what happens.
Bruce is
Turns
going to eat an
key.
apple.
In the center of the platform.
Yeah.
4 more gems appear at the bottom of this pillar. This I can't think of what pedestal. 4 more blue. At the cardinal
You want
points
to
of
see them?
north, south, east, west.
Can we see them?
Or
Yeah.
is it still
No.
Okay.
Only
More
Nyx can
gems
see them.
appeared. You guys see them?
No.
You what?
What?
There's the gems. There's 4 more gems now.
You need more keys?
I have no. They're all blue.
That's just they have to be all done at once. That means you'd need 4 people that can see it. So 4 Canic people. Or I mean, there's 2 hands. You're a monk. You could probably use your feet.
I can't reach all the way to all 4 corners. But
Not with that attitude.
it's like that the thing's in the way.
And with that, it is after 10 o'clock. So we're going to go ahead and end our session here. Thank you so much for watching. We look forward to seeing you the next time that we're on.